Hello and welcome to Talk Africa with me, Onsewa. Now, on today's show, imagine, right, that you want to become the president of your country, and then you happen to go to abroad, in one of the most prestigious places to have deliberation between yourself and the media. The whole world is watching you. And some people pose questions to you for you to answer so that you can give them a bit of confidence. They can have confidence in you knowing that you're the right person to take keys to the highest office of the land. But then you decide to actually delegate to people that you came to the place with to answer the questions being posed to you as a presidential aspirant. Well, that is what happened to the presidential aspirant from Nigeria, Bola Tinubu. So we're asking, is he fit to become the president of Nigeria? Of course, he's one of the favorites to become the next president of Nigeria. Does he strike confidence in you? I have my say. That's coming up. And then, of course, later on, the World Cup is still ongoing. Cameroon got knocked out. Senegal got knocked out. Ghana got knocked out. But Morocco have made it to the quarterfinals where they will face Portugal. How far can Morocco go? Can they beat this luck surrounding African teams and go beyond the quarterfinals and make it to semifinals? We will talk about that. And also, as we all are aware, the financial crisis that we're facing, the higher cost of living. How are you surviving? How will you survive? We have the expert here to help us. This and much more right after this.
Talk Africa.
We're about to kickstart, okay, with the higher cost of living that we're all experiencing right now. But before we proceed any further, a bit of housekeeping. We are streaming live on Facebook. You can go onto my channel 7 and watch the program. Okay, we're also live on Sky Channel 181. If you like to listen, you're a person who likes to visualize things, then you can also tune in on GN Radio. We also got you covered on the Channel 7 app. Just download it and you're good to go. This show is designed for us to have a discussion. Of course, for us to talk about issues affecting us, not just us here in the studio, but you at home. So do get involved. You can leave your comments on our Facebook page and I will read them out. If you have any questions at all, make sure to put them on that Facebook page and I'll put them to our guests. Now, let's kickstart this show with surviving during this financial crisis, I like to call it, or the high cost of living. And my guest is Mary Ayisi Boadu, who is an author, investment banker, and a financial coach. Mary, thank you very much for joining us. And I'm sure what everybody would like to know, gas bills have gone up. Yeah. Salaries have stagnated. They haven't gone up, matched inflation. So for anybody watching us now, the number one question is, how do you survive?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Yes.
Very, very good question, because a lot of people are going through all these cost of living crisis. Mm-hmm. And this actually came about, it started from the COVID and then the war in Ukraine, the Russian and Ukraine war, and then high inflation. Actually, according to the National Office of National Statistics, when I even checked this morning, inflation rate is 11.1.
Wow.
October. That actually means what you were able to buy with £100 last year, you need more. Yeah, 11.1% more. So that £100 is not enough to buy the same product. And this has also affected interest rate. Yeah. Interest rate, the base rate, the Bank of England base rate have also gone up 3%, which means that banks also have to add on like a margin.
Yes.
So that 3% is the bank-to-bank like lending rate, Bank of England and then the banks. And now the banks also have to add on their margin. So when you are borrowing for mortgage, you borrowing for loans, credit card, they also have to pass on. Yeah, because the Bank of England or the government wants to correct something that is happening within the economy. Now, mortgages, mortgages affect people a lot.
Yes.
It doesn't even matter if you have your own home and you're paying the mortgage or you are renting, because even if you are renting, your landlord is also passing on the increment to you. So normally people would like to say, I don't want to, I don't want a mortgage, I don't want to buy a house, but I want to rent. But you're paying for somebody's mortgage. But that is not even the case here, right? Rents or mortgages are the biggest share of our expenditure.
Sure.
Yeah. Apart from like utility bills and all that. So if it goes up, it affects everybody.
Absolutely.
Whether you have a mortgage or whether you are renting. Okay. Now, apart from the fact that inflation is high, interest rate is high, we're paying so much, salaries are stagnant. A lot of companies are not, increasing salaries. Most companies are not giving out bonuses and all that. So the money that you have or the same income now is being affected by inflation. At the same time, your expenditure has gone up. Yeah. So you are having to live with like a small amount of money. So you don't have any choice, you have to manage.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's the part.
That's it.
That's the part.
That's it. It's all to do with management. But we always have, especially people from our background, we always have that YOLO mentality. You only live once. Okay. So let me enjoy now. Right. But most of the time, people who wants to enjoy now, it's like you are living the future for now. And most people borrow, they borrow whether loans or credit card to live for the now. Mm-hmm. When you do that, it's like you are creating debt. Okay, and debt is not a good thing to have. So you are actually, when people are in debt, they develop stress, anxieties and all that. And that actually goes on to give you sicknesses and diseases like high blood pressure, even mental health. People have actually had heart attack that is also related to money. So money issues related to that. Some have actually gone on to die all because of money, because they could not manage their money. Yeah. Okay. People have diabetes, people have all kinds of sicknesses and diseases, even cancer. Some types of cancer are related to stress and the stress of money. Mm-hmm. So if this is the negative side, why don't you manage well?
But then that's the part that is difficult, because according to research, ethnic minorities are disproportionately affected more with this high cost of living. And of course, as you mentioned, the ramifications, the health impact. And you're talking about the management. And this is the bit that I want to know. And I'm sure our viewers want to know.
That's right. Okay, right. So to manage your money, number one, you have to avoid debt. Debt is definitely not a good thing to have. Wealth building is all about mindset, okay? Letting debt know that I don't want to know you. You are a past tense. Now I want to protect my money, okay? So after avoiding debt, then you start to build wealth, okay? To build wealth, you need to budget. Every money that comes to you is all about budgeting, okay? Before you even get your next salary or your business income or whatever, you have to plan. What am I going to do with this money? A, B, C, D. So I'm paying this in electricity, water, this, that. My car will need this. Mortgage will need that. Rent will need this. And then the rest of the money, you have to live with it. And the most important thing is pay yourself first, okay? So avoiding debt, budgeting, pay yourself first. So as soon as the money hit your bank account, you have already paid yourself, and that is saving or investing. So you put some money aside, whether it's 5%, 10%, 20%, 30%, and the rest goes into expenditure. Okay. So after the expenditure is done, right, whatever is left is what you have to live with. Then you have the option of that YOLO, let's enjoy life. Okay.
Now you're also a financial coach, and I'm intrigued to know, some of your clients, what are some of the challenges. I mean, you mentioned budget, and budgeting is something that not a lot of people tend to do. I mean, how important is it that this precise moment with these economic challenges that we're all facing, to be able to budget properly? What does it comprise of? What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, you have to know your income, what is coming in, and then your expenditure, what has to go out. Without these two, you will not be able to budget. Anything can come in, okay? Probably someone might call from wherever, asking for money, and you might send it without realizing that your rent has not been paid, your mortgage has not been paid. And then once you do that, it's like your money is not enough. So you have to go and find some funds somewhere to cover your expenditure. Okay. So all the time you are in debt. So budgeting, knowing what is coming in and what is going out, will actually help you, right? And whatever is left, you actually manage it. But we don't do that. Yeah. It's like most of the time, even when you talk to people about budgeting, they don't even want to know. It's either they don't have the time or they don't want to know. It's like, oh, let me leave for now, and then that's it.
Well, one thing I have noticed, sorry to cut you off there. One thing I've noticed is the moment money comes in, you get paid at the end of the month or at the beginning of the month. It's almost as if after the first week, people are back to ground zero. Yes. And literally living on, pennies. And my thing is this as a result of, a lack of financial literacy within the home settings, or this is just a sort of habit that we've picked up along the way?
It's a bit of everything.
Okay,
a bit of everything. We don't plan well. So, and then sometimes, just like the Bible says, for lack of knowledge, my people perish. They don't know what to do with their money, okay? So they just mismanage it. And then money, when you mismanage money and the money leaves you, that's it. It will not come back. When you overspend and the money goes out, it never comes back, okay? They always say that, like, not in a bad way, but in a good way, that money has to be seduced. Okay. Seducing money is like letting money know that, oh, thank you for coming to me, but I want to manage you very well. So I want to plan for you. I want to pay off my bills, and at the same time keep a portion for myself. And that is what you're going to use to save and invest. Without that, money will come, go. So all the time you are going round in circles. And then we are always like poor and,
You made mention earlier on as a result of why we find ourselves in this predicament. You touched on COVID and the Ukraine and Russian war. Yeah. But I just want to talk about COVID for a minute because it hit a lot of us without realizing what was going to happen. Exactly. Some people compared it to when the Second World War actually started. Yeah. And for me, one thing I took away from that, the pandemic time was the importance of saving. Yes. Because then many people were made redundant. Yeah. And if you happen to work for yourself, then hey, tough luck. Even though the government put in some measures to help people, it wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough, no.
And I just want you to stress on the importance of saving.
Yeah. I'll give you practical example, things that I heard, right? So, sorry.
No, it's okay. That's fine.
A lot of people, and I I actually read it in the news, one of the newspapers. A lot of people who died in the minority sector, they did not have savings, they did not have insurances, nothing. Okay, no investments, no pensions, nothing. So when they actually passed on during COVID, now imagine you, a family member, right, having to bury your relative with no money, and you yourself, you have nothing, no savings, no investment, nothing. So what would you do? You go and borrow again, right? Yeah. So all the time, that family line is all about borrowing, 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 borrowing. A lot of people were affected because they had nothing. On the other hand, the wiser ones, those with like wealth mindset, yeah, okay, they had more. Most people were staying at home, they had money, they were just adding on to what they had already started. Wealth building is all about mindset, but if we don't have the correct mindset of let me save, let me invest for the future, for myself, for my children, for my children's children, we are going to go round in circles. Every time money comes in, money will go out. We don't think about the longer term. Our people, all we do is, let me save for 6 months, let me save for 1 year. And that is not wealth building. Wealth building, you need 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And you start early. So not just about you or me, but also our children. And our children, we have to teach them well. Let's just say that we did not know anything before, okay? We did not have any wealth building mindset before. Now we know. We are in the light now. We shouldn't go back. We should, change our attitude and stuff, because our children are watching. As much as you are advising them, they are also watching what you do. So we have to be very careful. Let us save, invest, avoid debt, so our children can also pick on that. And then when you do that, in the longer term, money doubles, okay? It's a doubles game, okay? It doubles. Once you get to 1,000, another time it will be 2,000, and it goes to 4,000, and it goes to 8,000. Before you know, you are in 100,000, and then it doubles to 200,000. That is how these other people do it. So we should not just earn and then enjoy it because we are only living for now. You will live for now, okay, but trust me, when you build wealth, it's going to go around, and now you go through stress, anxiety, and then that will bring you sickness and diseases. So before you wanted to live, or you had that YOLO mentality, but now it's reversed. And now you are going through stress and all that. Is it worth it? No.
I like that phrase, YOLO mentality.
Yeah, mentality.
What is that?
You only live once.
You only live once.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That takes me to my next question about your book, Building Generational Wealth. And this is important.
Yes.
There is making money, creating wealth,
That's it.
and having wealth. Being rich for now, some might argue that it's for the short term, but generational wealth is, you're looking at long term.
Long term.
I just want you to touch briefly on this.
Yeah. So when we talk about wealth, it's not about riches at all.
Okay.
Wealth is about everything, even about our health, the way we live, okay? Because if you don't have money, you eat anything, and that will give you all kinds of sicknesses and diseases anyway. But when you manage your money very well, it will help you, okay? It gives you options, it gives you peace of mind, you sleep well. You are even able to give your children better education, yeah? You are able to build on for your pensions, okay? And as you build on, for the longer term, it doubles and it just goes on and on. Imagine receiving your investment statement end of the year. You look at it and you smile. Instead of a bailiff knocking on your door. Can you imagine? A bailiff knocking on your door, demanding payments. Yeah, that is not right. When they come knocking on your door, what does it do? It just gives you your heart to be, that's it, anxiety. So you don't want to be, poverty is not a good thing to have. One thing, our people, we work really, really hard. Some have 2 jobs, some have 3 jobs. Unfortunately, the money comes in, we spend everything. So we are hardworking. That bit's perfect. If we save and invest that money, we will be the richest people on earth. Yeah, but we don't do that. Some also is to do with lack of knowledge. Sometimes people don't know where to save or where to invest. And this is where you have to find a financial coach or a financial advisor. Okay? You spend small money, you pay for a fee, and the person guides you. Okay? The person, even top millionaires, they all have coaches and they all have advisors. Okay? So that they make sure that they are doing the right thing. And when you speak to a coach, when you you go back 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, and you are smiling because your mindset changed and now you are doing the right thing. Yeah?
Absolutely.
One more thing is, in our community, all we think about is, I want quick money. Wealth building builds character. It needs consistency, okay, understanding, change of mindset, okay, and then you build on whatever you get every month or every week or whatever, okay. But our people, all they think about is quick money. So what do? Any investment that promises huge returns, they rush to it. What they don't know is most of them, about 99.999% are Ponzi scheme. So they rush to invest and then they end up losing all their money. And when they lose their money, they go through stress, anxiety, they get sick, people die.
Wow. Well, let's hope our viewers and listeners listening to us today, listening to you in particular, will have a change of mind, a change of heart, and be able to start to implement some of these things that we've discussed here in their lives. Thank you very much for coming in to share this with us. That is Mary Ayisi Boadu, who is an author and also an investment banker and a financial coach. Right then, let's move on. Earlier on, just as I said, imagine your president or aspiring presidential candidate happens to be at a place where you have the opportunity to ask him a question. And he doesn't answer your question, but rather delegates it to somebody else to answer those questions. Let's take a quick listen to what Tinubu had to say.
Well, my name is Odiana Dominic Matthew. Thank you, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, for taking this opportunity to come and speak to us. You may know that I was one of your beneficiaries, even though I grew up in Lagos, but I was never a native. But I was granted the opportunity to work in Lagos State, even though I was from a different state. So that, tells me about how your policy is likely to be. But my question is this, because having worked for 10 years, there as a social development worker and youth worker during your administration in Lagos State, before coming here to qualify as a solicitor, practicing here in the UK, I'm more concerned about the young people. What program do you have for our young people?
Who was the presidential aspirant Bola Tinubu of the All Progressive Congress, APC, of Nigeria? As you saw there, he was, journalists asked him question, and rather than give answers, he delegated to his people on his team. Now, let me just give you a little bit of my take here. As an individual, if you're bidding to become the president of a country, it's your responsibility to be able to answer questions posed to you by your own people or by the international community, because you came here to have the press conference here. What does this say about the state of affairs in Nigeria? He's one of the favorites to become the next president of Nigeria. And it's very important that we talk about this and hold our leaders to account. A lot of the times, a lot of myself and my colleagues here in the diaspora, when you know, the international community, or should I say the Western media, portray Africa in a certain way, we're quick to bounce back. We're taking a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk more.
Talk Africa.